Yes, guys, as I said, I'm going to show you an exercise on how spanning tree will create a loop-free topology. So, how a spanning tree will block some of the ports in order to have a loop-free topology, right? So let's say I'm going to have here one switch here. Switch number 1, there is here switch number 2, and there is here switch number 3, right? There is a computer that is plugged there, maybe 3. There's a computer here, maybe 2, and there's a computer here, maybe 1. So there are computers that are connected to all those switches. Switch number 1 is connected to switch number 2, switch number 2 is connected to switch number 3, and switch number 1 is connected to switch number 3. Remember, guys, you can do this for redundancy, because if one of the link fails, another one can take over. So if this one fails, so data can move this side, right? But by doing this, you are going to have like issues. You are going to have a loop, because data will start moving from switch number 1, switch number 2, switch number 2 to switch number 3, switch number 3 back to switch number 1, right? So according to how switches talk to each other when it comes to get like the MAC address. Like this switch number 1, when switch number 1 wanna get like a MAC address of switch number so of computer number 3, so the one of the message that we call a broadcast message will go to switch number 2, right? So, and switch number 2 will send that broadcast message to switch number 3, and switch number 3 back to switch number 1. This is a loop that's gonna be created. So to avoid it, we're gonna use spanning tree protocol, right? So for every switch, you are going to have what we call a priority. So like for this one, I can take a priority of 3, and my MAC address for this switch can be maybe 111, right? For switch number 2, the priority can be 5, MAC address can be 222, and switch number 3, the priority can be 2, MAC address can be 222, right? So I just make it short, right? So how spanning tree now will create a loop-free topology, because spanning tree has to block one of the ports here, right? So in order for those switches not crashing. So step number 1 is we have to choose what we call a root bridge, right? So I told you about it. A root bridge. Step number 1. How to pick up the root bridge? We have to look at the priority, right? When you check the priorities of all those 3 switches, the lowest priority, sorry guys, sorry, the lowest priority is which one? It's this one, number 2, right? So switch number 3 will be the root bridge. So switch number 3 is gonna be your RB. Why? Because the priority is less, right? But if there is a tie, means maybe those 2 switches or 3 of them got the same priority. What you're gonna do, you have to check now their MAC addresses, right? So, and remember here, okay, let's say it's 3 because I don't want them to have the same MAC address. So switch number 1 will be your root bridge. Why? Because the priority is less. Now from step number 2, right, we have to choose the root port. The root port, we're gonna choose them by going for what? That's my number 1, that's gonna be my number 2. So we're gonna go for root port, right? The root port, we are checking the lowest cost. Lowest cost to reach the root bridge. To reach the root bridge, right? So you must go to switch number 1 and switch number 2. You're gonna check for what? For the root port. So you can see, guys, when you go from switch number 1, you wanna reach the root bridge. right? You can come this way, which mark I'm gonna use. From switch number 1, you can come this way, or you can come this way, right? If you are using fast Ethernet, let's say it's F, it's FA, it's FA, right? It's FA, it's FA, it's FA. Fast Ethernet means the cost is 19. The cost is 19. 19. For gigabit, the cost is what? The cost is 4. So if you're using gigabit links. Now, by coming this way, you can spend only 19. The cost can be 19. By coming this way, you can spend 38, because 19 plus 19, for you to reach the root bridge by coming from S1, you're gonna spend 98. So this one is the shortest one. So we're gonna choose this one as a root port, right? So this is what we call the root port. This one. Why? Because it's the shortest one, so the cost is lower. Now we're gonna go to switch number 2. How to reach switch number 3, right? For you to reach switch number 3, you can come, I don't know which mark I'm gonna use now. You can come this way, or you can go this way, right? But you're gonna see by going this way, it's far. So this one is the shortest part. So your root port is that port here, right? Now we are done with the root port. Step number 3, you must choose what we call designated port. A designated port, right? You must go to every switch. You are going to pick up a designated port, right? From the root bridge, so all ports are designated port, right? So from the root bridge, it's here. This one is your designated port. This one is your designated port, right? But if you go here, you're gonna see this one is designated port and this one is a designated port. So 2 designated port means there is a loop. So 2 designated port means what? There is a loop. One must be blocked. Well, one port must be what? Blocked. We have to block one of them. So number 4, step number 4, what's gonna be the blocking port? Blocking port, right? Now you're gonna have this one. There's the from switch number 1 you have one designated port. From switch number 2 you have. So switch number 1 will have a designated port. Switch number 2 so has a designated port, right? Which one we're gonna block? We have to check what? The priority. Lowest priority. Lowest what? P. You can see the priority of switch number 1 is 3. The priority of switch number 2 is 5. The lowest priority is what? Is this one. Right? It means what? This designated port, so this is the one that's gonna be blocked. So this port will be blocked when there is a problem. So this is the blocking port. So this is how spanning tree works. How spanning tree will block a port, so in order to create a free topology, right? Now I'm gonna give to you an exercise, right? I'm gonna give you an exercise and you are going to do it, right? The exercise, so you're gonna have here one switch. The priority is 200. MAC address is 333. It's connected to switch number 3. The priority is 100. MAC address 111. This one is connected to switch number 2. Its priority 50. MAC address B, B, B. Right now, you have to precise the blocking port. Right? So this is the exercise number 1. Right? So there is the exercise number 1 and the exercise number 2. Switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, and switch 4. Right? The priority here is 1, the priority here is 2, the priority here is 4, priority here is 6, or 4. MAC address 111, MAC address 222, MAC address 333, MAC address 666. Blocking port. You must also look for blocking port, right? So this is the exercise number 1 and this is the exercise number 2, right? Thank you very much, guys. When you are done, you can send it to Nontokozo, and Nontokozo can forward it back to me, right? Ciao.